everybody, and welcome to day 3. So if you're broke after lunch,
That's on you, baby.
that's on you. That's right. That's right. I'm Coach Kathy Wright, and my lovely partner is.
Raquel Naranjo.
Yes. And we have been having so much fun over these past couple days, really talking to you at lunchtime about how you can transition your life, transform your life, and make it better. So, for the past few days, we've been talking about this whole idea of being broke, right? Not broke in terms of money, although that's also a concern, but more talking about being broke in clarity and vision, etc. So we're excited to talk to you about day 3, right? So on day 1, we told you the truth about what's been keeping you stuck, right? We had you do some journaling around that. We gave you some key
Mhm.
questions to think about, about what's going on with you that's making you like stay stuck. And then yesterday, day 2, we asked you to start to think about what would happen if you chose differently, right? What if you didn't keep choosing the same things that kept you stuck, right? And today we're going to shift from awareness of all of those things that you've learned over the past 2 days and now start to talk about the decision to really design a life that is different, right? Because once you see clearly and once you start choosing differently, the next question becomes, well, what are you actually building? What are you trying to build? So you don't need to burn down your whole life, right, to make things different, right? You don't have to be overly dramatic. I used to be super overly dramatic, right? But you don't have to burn down your whole house, right? Your whole thing, right? You don't have to quit everything. You don't have to start completely over. You don't have to make a massive leap, right? Because that's not really sustainable and it's usually really not necessary. But what you do need to do, right, is you need to have a better designed life, right? One that's much more intentional, one that you actually sit down and think about in a different way, right? So this is about reassignment, right? Not destruction. This is about adjustments, not chaos. It's about intentional shifts, not impulsive moves. Okay. Not impulsive moves. So I want you to, we want you to have your journal. Hopefully, you got your journal, you've got your snacks for lunch, some good healthy snacks, and some water, hydrating, right? But in your journal for this first question, right, we want you to think about what in your life, right, is worth keeping. What's the thing you don't want to burn down? What do you want to keep? What's worth keeping? But what needs to be different? Well, what needs to happen so you experience it differently, right? So what in your life is worth keeping but needs to be experienced differently in your day-to-day? Raquel, is there anything that comes to mind for you?
I just remember, back when you and I started coaching, Kathy, and we went through this coaching process ourselves, right? So we've been you ladies, by the way, um,
Mm-hmm.
where I had already built a system where I had a great career already in place. It was just about realigning myself and establishing my purpose. I remember thinking I need mentorship, I need positioning, I need new opportunities. But I was blocking myself from reaching my full potential because of all the negativity in my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that is, I had a great system. I had people in my life that could take me to that next level, and some needed to go. Let's be honest,
Mm-hmm.
right? But just the belief in myself and the how you need to experience things differently in that you need to reposition, realign, reestablish where you're going, what you want, and who you want to work with. It's really about that.
It really is, and I love that you like shared that the personal story, right? Because as Raquel said, ladies, we were you, right? We were you, right? I was ready to burn down everything in my life. I was ready like blow it, implode, right? But I had to be
Right.
more strategic, right? I had to think about what was worth keeping, right? Including my sanity and all of those things, right? but how did I need to create a life that I was experiencing all of those things that I loved and adored and wanted to keep around? How did
Mhm.
I need to shift so that I could experience those differently? So
Right. And then you have those patterns of aligned decisions over time, right? And I talked
Mhm.
about this yesterday. Even if it's a small step, it's still a step. And
Mhm.
big changes don't necessarily come out of one decision. They come out of multiple small decisions, right?
Yeah.
As you move forward in your career, in your job, in your partnerships, both on the business and on the personal level, what you're saying yes to. Be intentional about what you're saying yes to,
Yeah.
and be intentional about what you're saying no to as well.
Definitely.
Prioritize and
Mhm.
protect your peace, protect your sanity, set some healthy boundaries in your life, and understand that this becomes your life. That's actually critical, Kathy, because the more you practice it, the more growth, the more it becomes who you are as as you take the next step or the next leap into who you're meant to become. And I truly believe that. So, ladies, think about this. Um, what is one pattern you're ready to change starting today?
Mm.
Kathy?
Yeah, when I think about that, like the pattern that I had was just being super raggedy about how I like would prepare myself for rest, right? I don't think I ever really rested because I wasn't
Yeah.
intentional about creating habits and
Pace.
patterns
Yeah.
to do that, right? And so I would, I'd go to bed and I'd be watching TV until they used to say till TV went off. TV used to go off back in when I was little. But I would just watch until I fell asleep. There wasn't any like winding down. And so I would go to sleep and it would just be like, I was reliving my whole life, my whole day in my dreams again and wake up tired. So
Right.
I definitely had to change that pattern.
Absolutely. It just those little things alone. Going outside and getting some fresh air could be a new pattern.
Hmm.
Sleeping 8 hours a day, or hours a night, excuse me. Well, maybe during
Yeah,
the day too. I don't
yeah,
know. But just those little things could really make a difference. The basics, I like to call it, right?
yeah.
Eating healthy, sleeping right, taking your vitamins, doing the basic things that you really need to do.
Yeah, it's so true, right? And we tend to forget about those basic things, but they are key, right? They're key to creating the energy shift that you're going to need to put in
Yes.
place to design this new part of your life, right? I am a big belief in like where energy goes, it flows, right? And so you
Mhm.
got to really start building your life around like how you want to leverage your energy. Energy is currency, right? And most high achieving women build their lives around obligations, expectations, output, right? What can you produce for somebody else normally, right? Instead of being much more focused on your energy, your capacity to do things, right? And then what actually is going to sustain you throughout doing all of the things, right? So what's
Yep.
really key is that your life will constantly drain you if you don't design it well. If it's not designed well, you are gonna, no matter what, how much money you're making, how fabulous your shoes are, and your purses, and your trips to Greece, and all of the things that you're doing, it doesn't matter. If your life is not designed well, no matter how successful it looks, you will be completely drained of your energy and your capacity to be different and to really sustain your life, right? So you have to protect your time differently in this space. Hear what I said. You have to protect your
Mhm.
time differently, right? So, as Raquel was saying before, you got to learn how to say no, right? You got to say no even if it's someone that you want to say yes to normally, right? You've got to learn how to say no. You got to structure your day with much more intention, right? Create these opportunities for you to wake and to do that in a way that calmly brings you into your day. Think about how you're going to create those nighttime routines that are going to calmly get you into a
Mhm.
space where you can actually rest. You got to understand what you are giving your energy to and what is sucking you dry, right? Lots of us are living lives where we're around energy vampires and we have let them
Yes.
in the door. What's that movie, Sinners, where you letting the vampire in the door? They asking you, right? They sucking you dry, right? Right? So ladies, here's your question, right? Here's your question. What consistently drains you that you keep tolerating? Right now, you can't call your kid. Well, if they're your adult kids, but if you're your babies, that's a different little word. But right, it might be your children, right? But think about what is consistently draining you that you have been tolerating.
What comes to mind, Kathy? Do you have that friend that calls you and just likes to talk and talk and talk, and it's all about them? If you do, raise your hand. That's what I've been tolerating, and you have to set some healthy boundaries. And I did. Fortunately, I had to set a healthy boundary and let her know that I love her deeply, but this is how I'm feeling, right? Bless you, Kathy. So it's just a matter because they're still going to love you. The relationship is not going to fall to the wayside because you've expressed how you're feeling. Sometimes we're afraid to do so, Kathy,
I think so. I think
right?
we're afraid of them loving us less
Yeah,
or changing the narrative that we've created in our minds around how we have to perform for them, right? And we talked about performative behavior yesterday even.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we can't make we can't build something better if we're leaving the same access, the same expectations, the same habits open. We need to really understand, and it takes some work, ladies. Let's be clear. It takes some work because growth requires saying no more often. Let me say that again. Saying no more often. I didn't realize that until I came into the program. Did you, Kathy?
Yeah, no, I
Disappointing
was
people sometimes,
I
right? We're
was
disappointing people. Yeah.
yeah, we don't want to disappoint anybody. And really the disappointment is for me, for us, right? Like, oh, I must have made them sad. Like we're always centering others, right? And so this is about shifting that dynamic.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is that you cannot please everybody. That's just a fact. And you're going to end up exhausted, just drained.
Yeah.
And it's going to be at your cost, at your
Mm.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
So you got to release those roles that no longer fit, ladies. Think about this. Every yes to your next level requires a no somewhere else. So say yes to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And write this down, ladies. Where do you need a stronger boundary in your life right now?
Mm.
Hmm.
I'm thinking about that question and like I've said this for the past couple days. I have to go back a few years, right? Because
Yeah.
going through coaching really cleared up a lot of this for me. But it's
Yep.
like coaching is always a work in process, right? A work in progress. I'm sorry. And so you're always continuing to evolve. But once you got to make that initial opportunity available to yourself to choose those things, right? And choosing stronger boundaries, right? So I had to create boundaries around um relationships and people who were necessarily adding value to my experience. um I had to really make those decisions and keep firm, right? Boundaries are about us keeping them, right? Because people are going to be line steppers, right? They're going to push the boundaries. They're going to try to jump over. Oh, she don't really mean that. Or don't worry, I'll get her to come change her mind. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, oh, don't worry, I'll get her to change her mind, right?
Yeah.
And so that means they feel like they have this opportunity to get you to do something that really is
Mhm.
counterintuitive to how you really want to show up and who you really want to be in that moment. So
Right.
The question again was, how do you keep a stronger boundary in your life right now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So I'm
go
sorry.
ahead,
Go ahead.
Kathy.
No, I was just gonna say, go ahead, and ladies, don't forget to keep writing your responses to these questions in your journals. And then feel free to like add them to the comment section and send us, we'll be looking searching the chat to make sure that we circle back. And on our next episodes that we start to run and talk through, we'll make sure that we talk through some of the big responses that we get, right? Because
Mm,
we want to be a partner with you in this work, right? But we need you to have the vision that actually belongs to you. And you're only going to be able to do that if you start to ask yourself these really big, sometimes scary questions, right? So many women that we meet, right? And Raquel and I have coached hundreds of women, right? From around the globe, really, Raquel,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And many of those women are living the woman before they go into coaching, of course, they're living someone else's definition of success. If I had to pick out one of the top things that I see coaching women, executive women, is they're living out the dreams of a mother
Mm. Mm.
or a grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or some person in their life that created quite an impression on them, right? And they're not really actively choosing, right? They're living a life that they should want, right? They're living in that space of a life that should make them happy, right? They got the big title, or they got the degrees that they wanted, right? And they should be happy. How many times have we heard that, Raquel? Right?
It's like a
They're,
broken record over here.
it really is. It really is. It really, like, ladies, you are not alone in feeling like you're living your life through somebody else's dreams for
Mhm.
you, right? And you felt an obligation to show up and to perform and to do and to build your life in that way. And it's paid off, right? You've got the finances, but you don't necessarily have all of the things that we've been talking about, right? So their version of success, if it looks good, but if it really feels off for you, right? So key in this space, right, is if the vision that you're holding isn't yours, you are going to always feel misaligned. Always. If you're living the life that your mother wanted for you or your grandmother wanted for you, that's admirable in their eyes, but it's doing yourself a disservice because you're misaligned to what you really want for your life. And you got to do something about it, right? You're obligated at this point to do something about it. What do you really want? Right? That's the number
Mhm.
one question Raquel and I ask of all of the women that we coach, right? Is what do you actually want? And there are so many amazingly brilliant, wonderful people who cannot answer that question because they've never taken the time to sit in that
Mhm.
unfettered by other people's ideas and visions of what they should be doing for their life. Oh, you're a good arguer, so you should be a lawyer, or you're really good at taking care of the cat or the dog. You should be a veterinarian, right? And people suggest those things and they imprint upon us, and we feel like there's an obligation for us to build a life that is aligned to that particular statement, right? But you have to define what success looks like for you. You have to determine what kind of life do you want to live on a daily basis, right? Not someday, but today, tomorrow. What life do you want to live that's not future focused, but living in the moment and being present right now? So here's another time for you to pause and to write, right? If no one else's expectations existed about who you are, what you do, the kind of work you do, etc., what would you choose? If no one else's expectations mattered, what would you choose? Raquel, I remember asking this of one of the beautiful women that we coached, right? And she was like, I would be a clothing designer. And it was about the sweetest conversation I ever had, right? And she was doing amazing things in her life and was, doing just solving world problems. But at the end of the day, she loved to create with her hands and wanted
Right.
to create, amazing clothing, right? So that's
And it's
true
about
for
rediscovering your gifts, Kathy, because sometimes, as children, we have these dreams and they're elaborate dreams. I don't believe those are actually dreams. Those are gifts.
mm, yeah. And so I think it's really important that women get back in touch with that. And you're only going to be able to do that in a way that's unfiltered, right? Stop filtering what you
Mhm.
write, ladies. Don't be afraid that somebody's going to grab that journal, right? This is your personal writing, but think about what would you choose if no one else's expectations were placed in that space.
Right. And then, you build one decision at a time, ladies. And again, I keep going back to this, but it's just that one step, that one small step. This is where it all comes together. You don't build a better life all at once. We've been in coaching for how long, Kathy? 6, 7 years now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And every year, every single year, I rediscover something new about myself. I grow to that next level. And interestingly enough, Kathy, people are like they fall off of my alignment. I don't even like say anything, and they just like naturally fall off. Very
Mm-hmm.
interesting. People, maybe
Mm-hmm.
people around me, right?
Yeah.
So it's just about being aligned with your decisions, your expectations, your boundaries, and then you shift how you want to show up.
Mm. Very
Show up
key.
differently,
Mm-hmm.
expect differently, and then repeat.
Rinse and
Be
repeat.
intentional. Exactly. Rinse and repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies, your next level isn't built in one moment, right? It's built on how you move every day. So when you're getting ready to journal and you're thinking about all these things, don't be so hard on yourself.
Mm.
Don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay. And we all have those feelings of I could have done better. I should have been here. What ifs, but at the end of the day, what matters is today, right? So you gotta focus on where you are, a level of awareness, a place of awareness. You're not starting over per se because you've already built a foundation. You've already felt probably even a shift if you joined us these past 3 days. There's a mental shift, a mental clarity that maybe you came in here and you're like without any expectations and you're like, "Oh, you're starting to see some clarity because you spent some time with us, but
Mm-hmm.
most importantly, spent time with yourself." Right? You've been intentional about your choosing to be here because you want to grow, you want to be seen. You don't want to be you want to choose differently. And you've
Yeah.
had the opportunity to build, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything you're saying is spot on in terms of
Hmm.
what we've been talking about for the past 3 days. And the key here is like just getting honest, like being
Yeah, be
honest, like
honest.
take that
Be honest.
time to be really honest, right? And so, before the end of the day today, we really want you to decide on the standard, one standard that you're going to be raising in your life, right? Is it the standard of learning how to say no, right? Is it going to be the standard of creating tighter boundaries? Is it going to be the standard of, making sure that you set aside time to properly wake in the morning and guide yourself into your day, right? Start to think about that. What are the things that you're no longer going to tolerate, right? Make that list too, right?
Hmm.
Something that you will stop tolerating and things that you will begin honoring. When you
Well,
begin
love
honoring
that.
who you are, it's huge, right? It's
Yes.
like when you say yes to yourself, right, and choosing much more intentionally, right, and designing, which is the theme of today, designing with
Hmm.
intention and purpose the experience that you want to have and the life that you want to lead. There are things you're not going to tolerate, and it turns into what you are now honoring, which is your heart, right? And the alignment that you're trying to create there. So you got to commit to it. right? Not just today, but going forward, right? Because we don't want you to still be broke after lunch, right? We really don't want that to happen for you, right? Whether and we love the title, but we really weren't talking about money. We were talking about your heart and your soul, right? And all of the things connected to that, right? So now you understand why we kind of named the series that, and hopefully you know now how to change it, right? Because we're building differently over here. We're building differently over here. Over the past 3 days, hopefully there's been something in our conversation that has shifted for you, right? Something that you've seen or something what you've thought through, where you've been maintaining things that no longer serve you. And you're recognizing that these decisions that you need to make the shift, you have been actively avoiding, right? And you no longer can do that. You have to think differently about what you actually want. So you gotta, it's not enough to have the insight, right? You have got to execute. And so we want to invite you to a space where we're helping you to execute, right? Raquel and I are coaches, and we've been talking about that over these past three days. And we are Ascension Collective Coaching.org, right? If you go there, you learn more about the coaching offers that we have. We have two amazing specials going on right now. One is called the Pay Raise Playbook. Now, the Pay Raise Playbook is a 3-day experience where you get to work with us very intentionally, right, over Zoom. But we turn those 3 days into a place where we can be very strategic with you and helping you get to how to position yourself with confidence so that you can stop uh over explaining and communicate your value in a way that shows the organizations and others that you are leaning into for these pay raises your
Mm-hmm.
value so that you're
Change your
properly
language, Kathy. Changing
exactly
your language.
you can stop overperforming and
Yeah.
start being properly compensated, right? Stop doing everything for everybody at work and really just start to be strategic in what you decide to do, how you leverage your energy, and be compensated appropriately for it. So we want to invite you to join us for the Pay Raise Playbook. Again, you can go to ascensioncollective.org and you'll find the link there. And we'd love to have you be a part of that 3-day event. We also offer a huge opportunity to work with Raquel and I in a 10-week coaching intensive. I mean, this is, you have to really be ready to shift your life. Am I right, Raquel?
100%.
You have to be ready to stop messing around and playing around about doing your life differently, right? This is deep transformation. It is really, really eye-opening. It cracked Raquel and I wide open and totally
Yes.
changed how we showed up in our lives. And we're offering that same intensive to you. It's a 10-week coaching intensive. That's your next step into real transformation if you
Yeah.
want it, right?
It's
Redesign how you
result driven as well, Kathy. Result driven.
very much so, right? We've seen women, and again, we've coached hundreds of women across the globe, and their lives have been shifted. And these women are, they've seen, we've seen together about $241 million in pay raises across the group of women that we've coached, whether it be cash flow into their business or uh, packages, wages. All of those increases have happened in the past 6 years since we've been coaching. $241 million. We want you to be in that number. But in order to do that, you've got to do this deep work. And we want you to do it with us intentionally, right? And so we want you to tap into our website at www.ascensioncollective.org. It'll be below this video. It'll be on our Facebook page. It'll be on our Instagram page. It'll be on our LinkedIn post. It'll be on our YouTube channel, right? But don't wait. Don't wait, right? Because we're offering a special right now through the month of March where we can we're giving a little bit of special, a little special, but the rates are gonna go right back up in April. So we want you to be a part of it. So stop playing small, stop carrying everything, stop settling for good enough, right? And really start building a life that actually matches who you are.
Invest in yourself, ladies. It's time.
Yeah, it's time. It's time. We have had so much fun. over the
Yes,
past
we have,
3
Kathy.
days. Oh my goodness.
Woo!
We
I'm
I
pumped.
think we got to see if people like that. I really like this lunchtime sprint, broke after lunch. I mean, it's super fun for me. So hopefully you can
We've had a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun.
oh, for sure, for sure. So we're excited again that you would come and that you would spend this time, and we're hoping that you will choose you this time and that you will really do this work. Again, send us your comments, your questions in the chat. You can go to our website and check us out and send anything that you want there, comments or questions. We'd love to work with you. We'd love to support your work. We are excited again to have been with you over these past 3 days, and we hope you'd enjoyed it too, right, Raquel?
Oh my gosh. I've had fun. I hope you did too. Kathy, I know you and I always have fun together. But really, ladies, just listen to what we have said these past 3 days. It's result driven. We've people have come to us, and I know it sounds almost crazy that within 8 to 10 weeks you can be completely transformed. I was skeptical. Kathy was probably skeptical as
Yeah,
well, but
yeah.
we have done it. It's just a matter of investing in yourself, really focusing on what matters to you, and getting it done. Getting it
Getting it
done.
done. Well, we want to thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Because if you're broke after lunch,
That's on you, baby.
ah! Thanks, Raquel. See everybody.